in the bottom position of the map. He is Solar. And his opponent up here in the top, you know him, you love him. He is the Terran to beat. He is ByuN. Now, this is fun from both, because both of these guys, I remember and I recall, they are both those online heroes. Like, these guys play in so many online cups, and they have been doing so for so long. The casting is live, but this was played on our other Trovo.tv channel, a new streaming service that AlphaX is on. But yeah, as I was saying, these guys have been absolutely dominating the online cups for years here. I just remember when I was getting started as a caster back in 2014, 2015, ByuN just played literally every week in this tournament that I cast and admin for ESL. And it was really just fun to see him play because he's just got so many fun styles. If you ever go watch his stream, you can just see he's very interactive, and even without a camera, even without a microphone, he's very emotive with his play style. And Solar, kind of in that same boat. He's a really fun player to play. He plays a lot of the online cups, so he sees a lot of different strategies and incorporates those strategies into his play styles. And he's also just a super solid player. And you know what, Getcha? I am glad he is back as well. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit of a ByuN fanboy here, but, you know, I love Solar's play too. Solar is really the player to watch in this series because he didn't have to go away, and he's just been better all the time. Now, as for ByuN, we already see he's going to be getting that reactor. Probably just going to hop into Hellions. Nothing too crazy just yet. You know, I'd say the first game, really in a best of 5, it's better to play it standard. We saw Innovation. He didn't follow that. He kind of said, you know what, I'm crazy. Let's play it crazy. And he got stomped for it. So, ByuN not going to make that same mistake. Already, though, he's going to go aggressive on the economy. His third CC already being built in the main base, keeping that Marine around just to make sure that this doesn't get scouted. You are going to need speed to hop on in there. And I mean, if ByuN can pull this off, he's going to be in a fantastic economic position. He's going to be equal on bases with a Zerg player, and when you're a Zerg who's on equal basis with the Terran, you might want to rethink your life choices. Now ByuN kind of just scouting around. He looks like he does not want to go too aggressive on the Hellions just yet. And no diving allowed. This is the shallow end of the pool. And it is never too early for supper. You know, I think I had supper at like 3 p.m. today. So Solar kind of just powering up here. He's going to be going for the roaches, probably expecting, since ByuN is not being too aggressive, he might be expecting a bit of a bigger commitment with these Hellions. The thing about roaches is they don't really scale super well versus bio. They're really good for the early game, but once you start getting into those +2 upgrades, you're going to have to kind of switch it up here as Solar. I think this is pretty good, though. He's going to try and hit ByuN where it hurts and go for a very early attack. ByuN should recognize this, and you know that's his response right there. It does taste like heaven and burn like hell. It's a really good drink. And I'm so glad you all are here to enjoy it with me. Solar, however, is not going to enjoy what he sees when he goes up that ramp. Stim is already complete, although ByuN does need to be careful with how much he stims, as the medevacs are not complete just yet. SCV's being pulled, only about 7 going down so far. So while Solar is getting some really good damage in here, he is getting cleaned up quite heavily with his attack. And keep in mind, he has actually kept his own worker count very low to keep this going. So now he is almost on equal worker count with the Terran player. And remember, that Terran player has 3 command centers already. Helion's going to come across the map. Not going to get too much damage done at the third. I would have liked to see ByuN kind of sync that up a little bit. But now he does have 2 medevacs full of Marines moving straight on through. I'm going to try and get some little bit of a counterattack here. Not too much on the production tab for Solar. He doesn't even have the larva production that he needs for this. ByuN, I think once he starts pushing is when he's at his scariest. Especially now that the army of Solar is gone, he has to remake all those roaches now, but he's going to take some damage while those build. And yeah, there you have it. Solar, not even going to wait for the 1-2 punch there, is going to tap out, and we are going to go into game number 2 with 1-0 ByuN. Now, I think ByuN really excels in these faster games, you know. He's a very mid-game level player. He really just punches through in that kind of middle of the game. And once you start pushing, oh my goodness, it's a thing of beauty, because you just can't stop the push no matter how hard you try. But you know what? If anyone's going to do it, if anyone is going to go up against ByuN and take him out in the mid game, it is this guy up here in the top position of Oxide. He is Solar. His opponent down here in the bottom, looking to close this series out as quickly as possible. He is ByuN. Now, the big fault there was obviously the fact that Solar really didn't macro up behind his failed all-in. So he really didn't have the units at home for kind of the counter push by ByuN. You know, ByuN was set up with the 3-1-1 already ready to go, and he wasn't really thinking about that coming across. I think he should not go for it on this map. Oxide, a little bit bigger, a little bit harder to get those roaches across without the lair. And I think just overall, Solar is one of those players who, the longer the game goes, it starts to favor him more and more. His late game is just impeccable, especially versus aggressive Terran players. Now, nothing too crazy just yet, but always have to keep an eye on ByuN's choice of building. We don't see that third CC coming down just yet. And in fact, it is going to be a 1-1-1 style of play. But that kind of tells me that we may see a little bit of earlier aggression in this game. Just the fact that he's not going to be spending more on that third CC means that there's way more to essentially be there for the power-up. Solar still really doesn't have any scouting information either. He's been very cautious with his overlords. He doesn't get overlord speed right now, and he hasn't really kind of sacked his overlords in to scout what's going on. But the next play is actually going to be Cloak. Cloak Banshees are making a little bit of a comeback. I don't think he actually saw that, did he? No, he didn't get up the ramp. Now, Solar, right now, he's kind of just droning up, which I do think that's kind of the better option here. It wouldn't be good of him to do too much else, but now he does see that there are quite a few Marines in production, so that's gonna start to ring some alarm bells in his head about what's coming up next, especially with the fact that we do have the Banshee joining in on the attack. That is revealed, but we don't know if Solar got a good look at it. Keep in mind as well, as ByuN pushes out, he doesn't have medevac support with this. So if he stims, which by the way he doesn't have, then he's not going to be able to replenish his health. Banshee, however, is going to get pushed away here. Cloaking not complete in time. Lair's not started either, however, so ByuN can still kind of play around the front. Maybe get some creep tumors denials there, as well as kind of just force energy out of these queens. I think that Ling probably had better dreams, but now he is just roadkill. He repaired up the Banshee so that now Sisters in Arms can go out and attack together. As he's going to open up this rock, just try and get himself a little bit more room for the offense. Going to deny the forward creep there as well. Going straight for the queen. Now, behind this, we do see Solar going to be committing a lot of gas to that Spire play. I think that's a pretty good option here because there is quite a bit of room to kind of maneuver those around, as well as the fact that ByuN doesn't really have any turrets. He doesn't really have the defense for it just yet in his main base. He's also only on 2 bases, by the way, guys. He's dropping down a couple of extra racks, so he's going to be looking to close this game out quickly, maybe even before the Mutalisks can get into numbers where he can defend. First big stim forward, going to clean up a lot of the creep. The Banelings in the back are going to morph, but this is a nice position from ByuN here because he can just pick up and get out of there. But look at that focus fire. He's actually going to kill off a lot of those Banelings. And focus fire is where ByuN really excels, as if there's a small number of Banelings, he is going to find them and he is going to click them. His control is just so precise. If he can keep that Muta and Baneling count low, he's really going to dominate this game. But it comes down to what he does here and now. As I say that, he actually does have a third base. So it's not as all in as I thought. But now ByuN, he's going to retreat. The Mutalisk's going to pop in here, get a couple cheeky kills. There is a missile turret in position, so not going to get too much done here. But the Bane, she's still looking for damage, even if it's just killing the extractor. You know, the extractor can be a very important building. I am a little bit worried here. Solar is starting to get into that kind of really hard to break Zerg position. His creep is just about halfway on the map, so he's going to see a lot of these attacks before they come. And it's going to be difficult to push here. But ByuN just going to hang out here, wait for the creep to dissipate before moving in. I'm thinking the Mutas are just going to stay back. And actually, here we go for a counterattack. Solar not going to waste any time trying to open up this path. The Hive is on the way as well as +2 attack. So ByuN not really going to have a huge upgrade advantage as this game goes on. But, you know, ByuN, you know, honestly, I think ByuN has not been aggressive as he essentially could be here. He's really just allowed Solar the ability to explode up to 90 workers and even getting the 5th base as well. So there's just a lot of potential here for Solar to stay aggressive out on the map, especially since this Mutaswarm is starting to look pretty good. Not able to get the pick off there. It is a fully maxed out army for both sides, however. ByuN still staying back. Still going to send a few units forward to try and pick off the creep, but there is the entire army here to deal with that. Small run by Solar going to be going on in the back. And actually, oh no, ByuN, good splits. Going to save a lot of those workers. Unfortunately, back over here, the big main engagement is has already happened. Luckily, he didn't lose that base, however. I think that's a big thing here. And actually, Solar's army supply has plummeted. Took a really bad engage there. And here we go, ByuN. It is his time to shine. The Banelings trying to morph in, but they just don't have the ability to. What am I? In the back as well, going to protect a lot of these units from the defense. The Ultralisk nowhere near being ready to pop, getting right on top of the Baneling eggs. And I think ByuN has pushed his way through to a victory here. As the Mutaswarm tries their best, is sent a small hit squad of Marines to deal with the drones over here. And now no Banelings will reinforce this army. And now this is the thing about ByuN. The second that ByuN starts to get a push going, he just rallies those units heavily across. He just wants to clean up this game. That might be a bit of a mistake there, as the Muta's actually going to charge into this and get both of those medevacs. So ByuN losing quite a few army units here. So small blunder there by ByuN. Gonna make this game go on for a little bit longer. He was trying to be sneaky, but unfortunately can't. Although he does get an Overlord, which is pretty nice. Now the thing is, ByuN is able to kind of push the creep back a little bit harder now, since Solar, I'm forgetting his name here, Solar's army is pushed back towards that 4th base location. Now actually going to get the 6th in a fight. Getting off quite a few. Target firing the Mutalisks as well. But all of this is just a distraction for the main force of ByuN to come on in here. And Solar caught with his pants down a little bit, as this base is going under fire, and that is actually going to be it. Wow, just amazing play there. I thought Solar was starting to get into that position where it's difficult to kind of break him, but ByuN, he finds a way. Just like I can find a way to segue into our sponsor, Fireball Whiskey. It tastes like heaven and burns like hell, and it's good for those nights in as well as a hot night out. Check it out at our Matcherino page, as well as check it out in the chat. There is a Drizzly link where you can actually have it delivered straight to your door. And yeah, it's really good of our sponsor to put on events like this. They've been doing it and they've been doing it for about, I think this is our 4th week actually of Fireball Friday, and there's still quite a bit more to come. So I hope you all have enjoyed the series so far, because we have a potential match point here for ByuN spawning in the bottom position of Death Aura. He's Solar. And his opponent up here looking pretty good. He's ByuN. Yeah, I had to go the full Linus Tech Tips there, Snoopy, to get that transition out. But, you know, ByuN has had to pull out the whole ByuN style strategy in order to get ahead in this series. I think Solar, we might see something aggressive out of him. Solar does have a couple of cheeses up his alley and all-ins that he can pull out. But it's all going to really be down to ByuN. When you're playing versus ByuN, you have to be very reactionary as the Zerg player. I know that kind of sucks, but yeah, you can't try and play your own strategy and expect it to work versus ByuN. But here we go. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about for ByuN. He actually invented and patented this build that he is going to pull out here. The 2-1-1, a classic Terran build at this point. Well, thank you, Chris Hansen. And actually, the sponsor is Fireball itself, not the Drizzly link. The Drizzly is just a nice addition because it allows you to get it shipped directly to your door. But, you know, Solar, he's kind of just powering up at this stage in the game. He doesn't really have anything too cheesy planned like I would have imagined. But he does need to scout this out. 2-1-1 is at its most powerful when it is invisible. Once you know it's coming, it is so much more difficult to deal with. Or not more difficult to deal with, it's more difficult to make work. Excuse me. I forget, English is a very hard language sometimes. But ByuN doing a good job of kind of hiding the number of Marines that he has. This is a pretty good start to this build. 2-1. He's got the reactor on the way. Starport is going to be complete pretty darn soon. And on the other side of the map, we're just seeing drone, drone, drone. No real additional queens here other than the initial ones. You've got 2 over there, 1 over there. Going only up to 5, maybe 6. But there we go, Solar actually going to go for speed this time. He saw a few of those Marines, so he's got a little bit of an idea of what's coming. And this is where it starts to get crazy for him. He's throwing down his Evo chamber immediately for this. Because he knows that he can start to get those upgrades and try and push out a little bit of a lead. You know what? I do love Marines too, but these are ByuN Marines. They are on a whole different level than just regular Marines. ByuN is literally the god of Terran Micro. And we're going to see a little bit of that on display here. ByuN pushing out a little bit further, probably waiting for that second medevac before he moves out. But now we kind of see the response here from Solar. He immediately goes for Carapace to make his Lings move a little bit, more armored. And yeah, here we go. Already going to get a pick off on the Creep Tumor. Solar in a good position here to defend, but he's going to lose quite a bit of creep here. A lot of energy on the queens as well, so ByuN just being very cautious about how he pushes in here. Doesn't want to lose this. But already he's going to kind of force the reinforcements to go straight for the main base. Looking to kind of just jump between these locations. He was probably hoping that that third base was taken for Solar rather than the other one. So maybe that's why he did decide to move in this direction. Now here we go. The reinforcements are going to be coming back, and this is where it gets a little bit dicier. With the addition of siege tanks, this becomes so much more difficult to engage with just pure Ling. We don't see any roaches. We don't see any mutas on the play just yet. The lair isn't even done either. So he's just going to have to go for the surround to deal with this. Picks off one of those queens. Still a small number of banelings, and actually going to get focus fire on them, so they will go down before they get on top of these guys. But ByuN still taking a bit too much damage here, but he is going to keep the aggression going, even sending his reinforcements across to help out. Nice pickup there. Going to make sure that he doesn't lose too much of his army here. Taking a look at that army supply. Solar still down here. And as the rally comes across, ByuN getting his third base as well. He's got his +1 armor on the way. And he's just going to keep the push going. picking off another queen. Every single time he picks off a queen, it's a thing of beauty because those things can transfuse forever if given the opportunity to. But now ByuN's actually in a decent position here to push into the main base with that siege tank spot. Has to be careful not to extend too far forward. He needs to fight within siege tank range. And now Solar is in that kind of position where you need to divvy up your forces, go for the two-pronged attack here on this. But ByuN just not giving him the opportunity here. That is a lot of Marines still left behind. He will have to pick up and sacrifice the tanks here, but Solar can't finish the commitment on those tanks. And now with most of the Banelings gone, this is ByuN's beauty spot here as he focus fires them down. All the drones passing on out, and Solar taps out.